You guys are the magicians of the 21st century. Don't let anything hold you back. Never. I don't ever give up. I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated. For my part, I will never give up, and I mean never. Take risks now. Do something bold. You won't regret it. When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds aren't in your favor. If somebody is doing something that is useful to the rest of society, I think that's a good thing. I think most people can learn a lot more than they think they can. They sell themselves short without trying. It's very important to actively seek out and listen very carefully to negative feedback. I think it's very important to have a feedback loop, where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. One of the really tough things is figuring out what questions to ask. Once you figure out the question, then the answer is relatively easy. Always take the position that you are to some degree wrong, and your goal is to be less wrong over time. One of the biggest mistakes people generally make, and I'm guilty of it too, is wishful thinking. If the rules are such that you can't make progress, then you have to fight the rules. Some people don't like change, but you need to embrace change if the alternative is a disaster. Great companies are built on great products. Talent is extremely important. It's like a sports team. The team that has the best individual player will often win. But then there's a multiplier from how those players work together and the strategy they employ. Really pay attention to negative feedback and solicit it, particularly from friends. People work better when they know what the goal is and why. It is important that people look forward to coming to work in the morning and enjoy working. If you want to grow a giant redwood, you need to make sure the seeds are okay. Brand is just a perception, and perception will match reality over time. I don't create companies for the sake of creating companies, but to get things done. The first step is to establish that something is possible, then probability will occur. You shouldn't do things differently just because they're different. They need to be better. It's okay to have your eggs in one basket as long as you control what happens to that basket. Most people can learn a lot more than they think they can. I think it is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. I like the word autopilot more than I like the word self-driving. Persistence is very important. You should not give up unless you are forced to give up. If you get up in the morning and think the future is going to be better, it is a bright day. Otherwise, it's not. It's very important to like the people you work with, otherwise life and your job is gonna be quite miserable. What makes innovative thinking happen? I think it's really a mindset. You have to decide. A failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. I think you should always bear in mind that entropy is not on your side. Starting and growing a business is as much about the innovation, drive, and determination of the people who do it as it is about the product they sell. People should pursue what they're passionate about. That will make them happier than pretty much anything else. If you have anyone who can do a better job, please let me know. They can have the job. If something is important enough, you should try, and even if the probable outcome is a failure. Life is too short for long-term grudges. If you need inspiring words, don't do it. Good ideas are always crazy until they're not. Rockets are cool. There's no getting around that. Your will is the most accurate way to predict the future. Patience is a virtue, and I'm learning patience. It's a tough lesson. Important enough you should try, even if the probable outcome is a failure. You have to be pretty driven to make it happen, otherwise, you will just make yourself miserable. I could either watch it happen or be a part of it. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better and keep questioning yourself. When I was in college, I wanted to be involved in things that would change the world. I hope that even my worst critics remain on Twitter because that is what free speech means. It's okay to have your eggs in one basket as long as you control what happens to that basket.